Hello. What a magnificent Monday it is. A little toasty here in San Diego today. We were inland showing some properties, and the property that we just bought is pretty toasty. Just 10 minutes inland. It's insane what that will do. So today we're talking about time. I'm going to wait for a couple of you to trickle in, but I'm really excited because time, honestly, in life has been one of my biggest struggles, and I've grown a lot by evaluating time. Hey Anna, thanks for joining. So yeah, if you're here, give me some love. Let me know that you're here. Would love to shout you out. But yeah, we're talking about time. So how often do you find yourself when somebody asks you to do something, or even if it's something you're not verbally saying, how often do you think to yourself, oh, I don't have the time for that? Could be as simple as a chore. Like maybe you got to run to the post office. Does the thought, oh, I don't have time for that, cross your mind? How often does that happen? Seriously, if you contemplate it, probably happens pretty frequently. I found myself frequently saying that just a few months ago. And recently, I've really had a big mindset shift. I think, first of all, that if you don't have time, that's bullshit. It is, because we're going to talk about it. Everybody in life has endless time. It's just lack of prioritization that you're struggling with, not lack of time. Everybody has the same amount of time. Some people do like a million things in their time, and some people do like 2 things. So it really comes down to prioritization and how you're spending your time, and really like how you're prioritizing that. So one of the things that really struck home for me was like the mindset shift around it, because all of us have the same amount of time. So honestly, if Joe Schmo is out there doing exceptional things with his time and I'm sitting in front of the TV for 5 hours, that's my problem. So a lot of times it's not time that's an issue. My coach tells me when I'm struggling with this, she says, Melissa, you don't have a time issue, you have a prioritization issue. And it's true. I always have time for the things that I want to make time for. So in learning that and kind of adapting and shifting my mindset around it, lately I've been getting the feedback from some people, oh, and this is how they'll say it. They'll be like, I'm so sorry, I know you're so busy. And that's been making me feel really bad. I'm like, no, I'm never, ever too busy. Like, never, ever, 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 ever too busy to take a phone call from a friend or a family member or to talk about something important. And if it's a priority to me, if I can't talk that moment, I'm going to tell you when I can call you back and talk to you. It's as simple as that. People in my life are a priority. My clients are a priority. My job and my work is a priority. John and my cat is a priority. My friends and, coloring is a priority. I enjoy coloring sometimes. So when I want to do something, I absolutely make time. There is always time in the day for the priorities that I have. So in the last few days, I've actually gotten feedback from a few friends who called me with questions, or they were kind of having like breakdowns and needed my support, and they called, and the first thing that they said was, hey Melissa, I'm so sorry, I know you're so busy. And that actually like kind of hurt me. I was like, oh my goodness, I am never ever too busy. And I'm sorry if I'm giving off that impression. I want you guys to all know that I love living my life at 100%, my plate being really full of gloriousness. So if it appears as though I'm very active, which I am, on social media and out and about San Diego and viewing properties and spending time with my clients, I am doing those things. But I also always have the time to take a phone call or to chat or to discuss a breakdown or to hop on a phone call and talk about investments or goal setting. This is the things that I love, and I love to support my circle and my sphere. And you guys are all a really important part of my life. If you weren't, we wouldn't be friends. So here's the deal. I always have time. I make time for everything. And one of the things that Ascension Leadership Academy, the 4-month-long leadership program that I'm graduating from in like less than a week on Sunday, has taught me is how far I can really stretch my plate and really operate in a both and capacity. And what that means is it's not, okay, I want to go to Laura's party, but I have this, so I can't do both. It's creating a win-win in every situation so that you can do both and. So it's not like an and or, it's not in like a or but, it's an and, a both and, meaning that I can do everything I possibly want in my life. I just need to be flexible and create win-wins for everything on my schedule. So that's what I do. And I encourage you guys, if you are stuck in the time, kind of like the mindset of not having enough time, it's a tough one to break out of. I get it. I've struggled with it for a long time. But you can absolutely have a mindset shift around it. And I encourage you to think in the capacity of both and. What can you do? How can you create a win-win for all the things that you want to do that are on your plate? How can you stretch your plate further? And where are you wasting time potentially? Because right now, the average American spends 4 hours watching TV. That is insane. Like pure insanity. Straight up bonkers, crazy shit. 4 to 4.5 hours of TV average a day. I watch probably, well, much less than 4.5 hours a week. Probably pretty close to 4.5 hours a month of a TV movie. Not saying that you need to change your lifestyle to that capacity, but start reflecting on where you're spending your time. There was a study done with a guy who was really, really unhappy, and he realized that like 2 to 3 hours of his day he was spent consuming media coverage in the form of like newspapers and the internet and, you know, Yahoo News and stuff like that. That's really draining on somebody. And when he started using that 3 hours a day to like work out and be productive and meal prep, his story was incredible to read. So think about where you might be sacrificing some of your available time. When you think to yourself, oh, I don't have time for that, evaluate where you are spending your time. And it's actually really interesting. You know, I have done this in the past. If you want to evaluate how you're spending your time, start jotting it down in a notebook. Because similar to a food journal, when you start actually keeping track of how you're spending your time, you may find it really shocking where you're allotting a good portion of your time. You know, obviously sleeping is important, and don't sacrifice things like that. I would not advise that. But if you're spending time like on Facebook, calculate how much time you're spending on Facebook, even on your apps, on your phone, on your email inbox, on how long you're spending just shooting the shit on the phone, maybe watching TV, even, not to be crass, but the time you may be spending on the toilet because you may be bringing your smartphone into there these days. Evaluate that and see where you might be able to create space for yourself for some more magic of things that you actually want to do and are fulfilled by. All right, you guys, hope that message resonates with you. Give me some love. Share with me some comments. Do you also struggle with time? I feel like it's something that a lot of us do, especially because our world is so fast-paced these days. If we're not on things, it's like, you know, you don't respond to a friend's text. It's like, are you dead? It's like, sorry, I was taking a nap, man. Yeah, but I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your Monday night. It's a glorious day. It's a glorious evening. Hold on. There we go. Look at San Diego, man. Bye, guys.